The majority caucus in Parliament has defended the Ministry of Foreign Affairs' recent decision to increase passport fees. According to the group, the increment of passport fees by 400 Ghana cedis should not solely benefit the 20% of Ghanaians who require passports for travel, as it is not equitable. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration announced the hike in passport fees effective from Monday, April 1st, which has sparked widespread public disapproval and condemnation of the action. Speaking to journalists in Accra on Wednesday, Andy Apiakubi, MP for Asante-Akim North, explained that the decision was unanimously taken by the Subsidiary Legislative Committee, chaired by an NDC parliamentarian.
This is the work of the Subsidiary Legislation Committee, and indeed chaired by the NDC Member of Parliament. So it never occurred in the committee meeting that there was protestation as to the recommendation for review. So it was a unanimous decision taken by the committee. It's amazing how Ghanaians want us to be political all the time, and that people are saying it is election year and therefore we don't have to. It is election year. Let us not forget that it is your money. It is your own money that could otherwise give you something else for the benefit of the whole, rather than for the benefit of only a segment of society. So, although it is election year, it is important for us to be prudent in the use of public resources. Again, the same people who complain of the increase are the same people who are buying tickets for use every now and again as they travel. And they are paying $2,000 plus for one trip. You cannot travel without the passport, even though you may have the money to pay for the $2,000 plus. So the base document that gives you the opportunity to travel is only 500 Ghana cedis. The Ministry of Finance, there was an agreement that they should charge something like 700 Ghana cedis for the normal. And they came to Parliament with this proposal of 700 cedis. And then when the referral was made to our committee, and then not a committee for foreign affairs, but a committee for subsidiary legislation, where I have only just exited as a ranking member. And I still remain as a member there. So at the Committee of Subsidiary Legislation, we agreed to reduce it from 700 to 500. And indeed, it was based on the submission of the ministry that one passport costs 400 Ghana cedis. And we expected some administrative cost of about 100. So we agreed that this is not an avenue to make profits, but let us make sure that we cover all associated costs. That is the cost of the booklet and the printing and the cost of the administrative service. Let me hereby emphasize that at the said committee meeting, all of us as members of the committee agreed to this proposition and this position and recommended to the ministry to implement the fee of 500 cedis. Not one person opposed it. And I want to also emphasize that this committee is chaired by a member of parliament from the minority, and the vice chairman is also from the minority.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Madam Shirley Ayokoboche, has also clarified the government's recent increase in passport fees is not aimed at imposing financial hardships on Ghanaians. According to her, the government spends 400 cedis on each passport, yet applicants pay 100 Ghana cedis, while the state absorbs 300. Mrs. Ayokoboche explained that because government is subsidizing passports heavily, she faces the challenge to deliver efficient services. She humbly appealed and urged Ghanaians to use their Ghana card since it has now become the primary identification document, making passports less essential for national identification.
Ghana's passport costs $8. The next country within our region of West Africa is Liberia, which costs $40. Government spends 400 cedis on every passport that we give out. It means that the passport applicant pays 100. The government absorbs, the state absorbs 300. It cannot be the case that it will continue, because it is affecting even our operations. And Ghanaians are complaining that, the service, it takes long to get a passport and all of that. If government is subsidizing heavily passports, it is difficult to provide any good service to Ghanaians. We are the lowest, $8, the equivalent of $8 to acquire a passport. And today, as we speak, we have the national identification that is working very well. So that's our primary source of identification, no longer the passport. And even those who have the Ghana ID, the national ID, can travel into the country with it. So then I'm asking humbly Ghanaians that please, if you do not have need for a passport and because you cannot afford it, please, humbly, I'm asking you not to go for a passport, because it's no longer your primary source of identification. The national ID is, the Ghana card is. And we need to ensure that we improve our services, which is why we've had to increase it. Parliament has had to agree to increase the cost of passports. It's not because we want to impose a financial burden on Ghanaians. No, it's just because we need to have applicants pay the realistic fees so that we in turn can also provide them with a good service.
Mrs. Boche further emphasized that the approval for the new increments of the passport fees went through a parliamentary process, stressing that her outfit has no intention of posing a financial burden on Ghanaians, and that she would be surprised if any parliamentarian can claim that her government wants to impose a financial burden on Ghanaians.
This came from Parliament. Fees and charges come from Parliament of Ghana. We make a presentation to them. We give them the bare facts of what it is, and they know. He's a ranking member on Foreign Affairs, on the Foreign Affairs Committee, and he knows the issues to do with passports, how much it costs and all of that. We've presented to them, the Parliament is aware of this, and this document, fees and charges, came from Parliament. So I haven't heard him say that. I'll be surprised if he did say that, because it came from Parliament, and he's aware of the difficulties that we are going through. Parliament agreed to increase it, and so it's been done. If Parliament decides that we should go back, we'll have to look at it. It's Parliament that has decided.
9 individuals have so far picked up forms to contest the new Patriotic Party parliamentary primary for the Ejisu constituency since the party opened nominations on Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024. The NPP has scheduled the election of a parliamentary candidate for the constituency for Saturday, April 13th, 2024, following the passing of the Member of Parliament and Deputy Finance Minister John Ampotua-Kuma. The 9 aspirants obtained their forms between Tuesday, April 2nd and Wednesday, April 3rd. 7 of them picked up on Tuesday, while the remaining 2 picked up their nomination forms on Wednesday. Supporters of these aspirants gathered at the Ejisu NPP office to back them up as they purchased nomination forms from the election committee chaired by Dankwa Smith Bute, the National First Vice Chairman of the party. The 9 aspirants include former Ghana Football Association President Kwesi Nyantakyi, who has been tipped the forerunner, and 4-time aspirants Abena Pokuah Boite, popularly known as Ejisu Broni, and Portia Agyapong Abronye, the wife of NPP Bono Regional Chairman Kwame Bafo Abronye. The rest are presiding members of the Ejisu Municipal Assembly: Helena Mensah, Kingsley Kakari Mensah, Constituency 2nd Vice Chairman, Kwabena Boateng and a lecturer at the Akenten Apiameka University of Skills, Training and Entrepreneurial Development, Dr. Evans Dia. All the aspirants are hopeful of making it onto the ballot as the nomination period closes on Thursday, April 4th.
In preparation for the annual Homowa Festival, the Ghana Traditional Council has declared that the ban on noise making will begin on Monday, May 6, and conclude on Thursday, June 6. The ban extends to all forms of noise-making activities, including the use of loudspeakers, drums, tambourines, clapping of hands, and other musical instruments within the Ghana state. Addressing the media on Wednesday, April 3, the president of the Gadangbe Traditional Council, lawyer Akufo-addo, emphasized that during the month-long period, all forms of noise-making are prohibited, including merrymaking and holding of funerals. He also asked the general public to respect the ban and refrain from remarks that could incite unrest and disrupt the peace in the country. Lawyer Akufo-addo added that a task force has been established to work with the Ghana Police Service to monitor and ensure compliance with the ban and prosecute individuals who fail to comply with the law.
The public is hereby notified that this year's annual ban on drumming and noise making will commence on Monday, 6 May 2024 and continue until Thursday, 6 June 2024. Please take notice that the ban encompasses all forms of noise making, including the use of loudspeakers, drums, tambourines, clapping of hands, and any other musical instruments within the Ghana state.
According to officials, offenders will have...
The Ghana Traditional Council urges all residents of the Ghana state to honor the month-long ban on drumming and noise making and refrain from disparaging remarks regarding the customs, practices, and beliefs of the Ghana people, which are likely to inflame passions and lead to the breaches of the peace. A task force, in collaboration with RESEC and various metropolitan, municipal, district assemblies, has been established to work with the Ghana Police Service and other security agencies. Their mandate is to monitor and ensure compliance with the ban and prosecute individuals who fail to comply with them.
On his part, the chief priest of the Ghana Traditional Council, Numo Nai, stated that individuals and organizations are bound to use anything, any sound projectors, and any form of machines that project sound is prohibited. According to him, people cannot clap their hands, whistle, nor do anything that will make excessive noise. He emphasized that offenders will receive an inventory of seized items and a 90-day ultimatum to rectify their actions. He further explained how a defaulter whose items are seized and sent to the Ghana Traditional Council can be retrieved. He also urged churches, mosques, and all individuals to honor the ban and uphold the sanctity of Ghana tradition.
You are bound to use anything, any sound projectors, loudspeakers, any form of machines or any form of gadgets which projects sound is prohibited. There is no way you can clap your hands. We don't whistle. You don't make things that would make excessive noise. We don't have funerals. We don't have meetings that in respect of funerals. All these things are prohibited. With all due respect, when your item is seized, a defaulter whose item is seized, the items will be brought to the Traditional Council. You'll be given a copy of an inventory of all things which belongs to the organization, which belongs to the individual or whatsoever, and then your items will be brought here in the Traditional Council. You have the period of 90 days to approach the leaders of the Ghana Traditional Council as to your fine and other punishments relating to your default during that period for the claims of your items.
The Ghana Council reaffirmed its commitment to upholding its cherished practice as the annual tradition of observing the customary ban on noise-making approaches. The Traditional Council also urges all residents of the Ghana state to honor the month-long ban on drumming and noise-making and refrain from spouting remarks regarding the customs, practice, and beliefs of the Ghana people, which are likely to lead the breaches of the peace. South Africa's Speaker of Parliament, Nosiviwe Mapisa Nkakula, has resigned after police raided her home during a corruption investigation. Ms. Mapisa Nkakula is accused of soliciting bribes in return for awarding contracts during her time as Defense Minister. She has denied the charges and said her resignation was in no way an indication or admission of guilt. She said, given the seriousness of the probe, she could not continue her role. The 67-year-old veteran of the anti-apartheid struggle became Speaker in 2021. Before that, she served as Defense Minister for 7 years. Last week, Ms. Mapisa Nkakula's lawyer filed a request for a court order to prevent her arrest, saying it would infringe on her dignity. On Tuesday, judges rejected her bid on the basis that the matter was not urgent and they could not speculate on an arrest that was yet to happen. Ms. Mapisa Nkakula is accused of making several demands for money amounting to $120,000 from the owner of a company to secure a tender to transport army equipment back to South Africa from elsewhere on the continent, the Business Day newspaper reports. The resignation comes ahead of next month's general election, which some believe could be difficult for the governing African National Congress. The party, which has been in power since 1994, has faced repeated allegations of corruption and mismanagement of public funds, which have become a key election issue.